If you don't understand what's happening right now, you are going to miss the single biggest wealth-building opportunity of this entire market cycle. Plain and simple. Because what you're looking at, it's not the end. It's the beginning. So let's just get right into it.
Okay, look at this. The crypto fear and greed index just cratered, hitting a historic low of 5. We are talking about a level of extreme panic that we haven't seen in years. This is the kind of number you see during the worst market crashes on record. The entire market is absolutely terrified. And you know what? They have every reason to be scared. The scale of this financial wipeout, it's just staggering. In a single 24-hour period, the total damage across both crypto and U.S. stocks was an unbelievable $1.33 trillion. This is not just a crypto thing, folks. This is a coordinated global liquidity collapse.
But here's the twist. This is the part that everyone who is panic selling is getting dead wrong. This isn't the signal to run for the hills. This is the historic accumulation zone that only shows up once per cycle. It's the signal to do the exact opposite of what every bone in your body is screaming at you to do.
So stick with me here, because by the time we're done with this explainer, you are going to have the exact data-backed blueprint for turning all this chaos into a generational opportunity. I'm talking the timeline, the key signals, the whole strategy.
First things first, you got to understand, this crash didn't just happen out of the blue. Nope, it's actually the final, brutal phase of a much larger structural decline that kicked off way back on October 10th, 2024.
Now this timeline here really tells the story. It all started with that insane, record-breaking $19.5 billion liquidation event right at the market peak. And since that day, the crypto market has just been systematically bleeding out, losing a staggering $2.2 trillion in total market cap. It's been a slow and very painful decline.
And this chart, it illustrates the damage perfectly. You've got Bitcoin now under $60,000, which has completely erased every single gain from the post-election rally. And then there's XRP. Its drop is even more dramatic, pushing it right back into that critical demand zone from November of 2024. We have literally gone back in time.
So why are we seeing these insane, violent price drops? It's a liquidity crisis. Simple as that. Market depth, that's the ability of the order books to soak up big sell orders, is down a full 30% from the peak. That's why you're seeing Bitcoin flash crashing thousands of dollars in minutes, and it's exactly why every retail investor out there is screaming from the rooftops that crypto is dead.
But you know what? That fear, that absolute panic from the retail crowd, that is precisely the signal we've been waiting for. So let's decode what this extreme fear is really telling us. You've all heard the old saying, right? The time to buy is when there's blood in the streets. Well, guess what? Right now, with the fear and greed index at 5 and over $1 trillion just vaporized, the blood is in the streets. This is the exact moment that famous quote was made for.
And this brings me to a really critical point. This is your gatekeeper alert from Crypto Global News. Before we break down the specific market clock that shows why we are only about 30 days from the absolute bottom, you need to understand this. If you are watching this without a subscription, you are missing the alerts. The algorithm is going to hide this content next week. So, click subscribe right now to stay on the timeline.
Okay, so here's the core idea, the whole thesis of this explainer. This market chaos, it is not random. It's following a predictable historical pattern, and we call this the 420-day market cycle.
So let me just ask you this straight up. Is this crash something totally new and terrifying? Or is it a pattern that has repeated itself over and over and over again? Well, the data's pretty clear. It's the second one.
We call this pattern the crypto bottoming cycle. And what history tells us, with pretty remarkable consistency, is that bear market bottoms tend to form roughly 420 days after a major market peak. It's like a surprisingly reliable clock for the market.
So, where are we on that clock right now? Well, today, we are on day 385. This historical cycle is playing out almost perfectly. It's uncanny. What this means is we can translate that cycle data into a clear, actionable time frame for you. We are now entering the final accumulation window. The data is telling us the absolute bottom is likely only 30 to 45 days away from right now. So now that you've got the time frame, I've got a question for you. What do you think is the single biggest mistake investors are making right now in this environment? I want you to go to our latest YouTube community post and drop your thoughts. I really want to see what you're thinking, and let's get a discussion going over there.
Okay, so to actually act on this, you need a simple checklist. Step 1. Confirm sentiment is at extreme fear. Well, with the index at 5, that's a big check. Step 2. Verify that the technicals, like the RSI, are at bear market lows. Check again. But step 3, this is the most important one. You have to observe accelerating on-chain fundamentals. These are the signs that smart money is buying, and following them, that's the key to making life-changing wealth. And hey, a quick note for all of our viewers in the US. With tax season coming up fast, understanding these accumulation zones isn't just about trying to find the bottom. It is absolutely critical for your strategic portfolio management and your tax planning as we head into the rest of 2026.
All right, finally, you have to realize that all of this, everything we're seeing, is just the precursor to a much, much larger event. We are witnessing the final shakeout just before a massive institutional reset.
This is what I like to call the capital inflow paradox. On the one hand, you've got prices crashing, which is creating total panic for retail. But behind the scenes, institutional interest is hitting record highs. And at the same time, regulatory progress, specifically that government initiative they're calling Project Crypto, is still moving forward. This isn't a random collapse, guys. This is the final engineered shakeout before the big money gets the green light to flood in.
Look, things are moving incredibly fast right now. If you want the time-sensitive updates before I can even get them out on this channel, you absolutely need to be in my Telegram. Scan the QR code you see on the screen right now or just use the link in the description. You can join instantly.
So this all leads us to the final, multi-trillion-dollar question, doesn't it? What is the one specific event that's going to act as the catalyst? What's this single trigger that will finally unleash this institutional reset and send the entire market flying into its next parabolic run?
The answer. It's tied directly to that Project Crypto initiative I mentioned. That is the linchpin for everything that's coming. And I break down that entire catalyst, the whole timeline, in the explainer that's right here on the screen. Go ahead and click it now, and I'll see you in there.
Stay ahead in the crypto market. Subscribe now for the latest global news and updates.